Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We got limited time, but let's talk about it, man. How about that launch?
I know. That's cool.
I did not know. Well, my wife is like really into the space program,
Yep.
and she's always followed it. She always, if there's something going on, she'll pull it up on YouTube and then watch the live feeds. And NASA and SpaceX arguably do a really good job, I think, of letting you see stuff that, like, we're very lucky to have a space program that allows us almost a behind-the-scenes kind of a look at what's going on. But anyway, we started watching it. And with everything going on here and COVID and, other things within the world and atrocities and murder and whatnot, you kind of gets away from you. So I just saw her walking around the house, like as we're organizing things, looking at it on her phone. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, throw it on the TV so we can all watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, me and Maisie sat there and started watching this thing. And I swear to God, when that thing took off, I started crying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I got a little misty-eyed.
I had an emotional response, and especially in lieu of all
I
of
glanced
this
at the wall.
terrible, but in lieu of all this terrible stuff that is happening and stuff that would bring a fearful tear to my eye, I see something like this, and I'm like, I don't know, like
inspirational,
it got me.
More than anything, it's just it's about like human accomplishment and what you can do. This is the first like privatized human space launch, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like
NASA partnering with infrastructure that's already out there, companies that come in and they can partner and kind of get the coast. For those of us that live around here, if you're listening to this and you're not in Florida, we know what it feels like to live in this area and have our space program shut down. We know what that feels like. We know the people that were impacted.
Oh, yeah. Shut down basically a whole town.
Space Coast gone, right?
It's being brought back by SpaceX and all the private industry, which is cool because I really do believe that, the private industry can do a lot more. Obviously, they have... they could run it better. They could have more funding. They could limited funding based on.
It also broadens it.
Yeah.
Because maybe some of the things that would typically get tied up into red tape, we know how that works.
Yeah.
When you're a private company, you can make things move. You can do things. A couple of things that I noticed. They showed the before and after, and I think Butler put this on his Facebook page.
His Fishbook page? What's that?
Fishbook is something that me and the fish are starting because they're my only friends.
Cool.
I spent so much time with them this weekend just sitting on the couch and just staring at them, wishing I was one of them. But by the way, Fish Cam, you can see it on YouTube. Just search Tom and Dan Live. But a couple of things. The before and after of the capsule that was on the shuttle and then the capsule that's in the Dragon is like night and day. Like, it's unbelievably different. The spacesuit's unbelievably different. Yeah. But did you watch the docking?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
With the touchscreen?
Yeah. I did not watch that.
No, sir. No, I can barely navigate Gmail on my touchscreen. Touchscreen, no.
I'm guessing your wife did not go out there, Tom.
No, and we regretted not going out. Like the Friday night before, once it got scrubbed on Friday, and then Saturday the weather looked so bad. Even like on NPR, they were saying like forecasters, like people that knew were like, man, it doesn't look that good.
Oh, the window was teeny tiny.
The forecast was bad. So I convinced myself that it was going to get scrubbed again. Although we debated taking the boat out because we saw like the how many people were driving out there
like
on the bridge and stuff.
Saw some of those photos. I was like, is this Photoshop?
Yeah,
this
it
is crazy.
Fake.
Some of it did look Photoshopped.
Yeah, but it was real.
Not Photoshopped.
I confirmed because I was like, no way this many people on that bridge. And then I looked at it, well,
there's also one dumb old...
You don't know.
There's also one dumb old man that had his mask on the top of his head in the photo, which I'm like, come on, man. You can do a little... You can do 0.5% better than that,
it's
right?
Fine. It's too hot.
Yeah. But one of the things also that I noticed, though, is that, like, do you want to be out there? Now, there is something to be seen, like night launch or see it go up on a non-cloudy day. I get it. I don't know if watching it there, you would learn as much as if you listen to the NASA feed and see all the camera angles and the touch screens and all of that. I mean, like, if you want to actually see it, I think you got to watch the feed, or at least have that accompanying you being there, right?
Well, I think they are, because nowadays everybody had their cell phone and they're watching literally the live.
But a lot
feed.
of people were just filming it themselves on their phone.
That's true. Yeah.
You know,
it's
so that they could put it on their Facebook Live.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to sit in a boat and have a White Claw and watch it go up, that's great. But I was really kind of getting into hearing the astronauts talk back and forth and that kind of thing. I think that's what made me cry, is that I got sucked into. It was like a movie for me. And then I started kind of feeling for the guy. I'm like, these guys are in this thing, and it's gonna go up. This is super crazy.
You know, I need to talk to a meteorologist, because I don't really understand. I feel like I can get a better understanding of weather. I just have a couple questions.
I mean, she's out of the game, but I can get Sweezy anytime. Man. I mean, she just retired, but like she's got time and she's brilliant.
I just feel like, because
I'll reach out to Amy Sweezy.
So in Florida, because
Tom's going to embarrass us in front of Sweezy.
No, you can't. Sweezy's all too powerful.
So the reason why we can't accurately forecast rain a lot of the times is because it pops up almost by the hour, right? Like thunderstorms, because of the way moisture reacts with the ocean, and hot air and cool air, like creates these thunderstorms almost within the hour, right? Like, it's not like, you know, you see a hurricane coming and you know that the weather is coming, and then you can forecast that. It's like, oh, it'll be here at this time. But with like scattered afternoon thunderstorms in Florida, they just pop up. That's why it's so because I'm looking at my weather app, and I'm like, you know, National Weather Service and all these different weather apps, and they're like 80% chance of rain in New Smyrna. And obviously it did rain in New Smyrna at certain times, and that's where the percentage chance goes. But also, weather just pops up, and so it's hard to really forecast, like, okay, it's going to rain at this time, because that's what I was looking at. Then I'm watching the shuttle feed and all these boats, and I'm like, oh, I could have been out there because it's perfect weather. And what I got scared of is like going out there, and then all of a sudden a bad thunderstorm rolls in. The launch doesn't go off, and then I'm out there in the boat with my family, and it's a crazy bad storm. Plus, I realize how many boats are going to be out there. There's going to be the
likelihood of that happening,
Memorial Day amount of boats.
I think you're answering your own question. I think almost it's like the likelihood of that happening was probably higher than it not. I mean, the window that they had to stay, open to get it. Also,
I don't perfect weather.
I don't like that either. As a person that is fearful of flying, but I'm better with it now. Admittedly, I'm better with it. I've never been a fan of the takeoff or the landing when it's like, oh, it cleared, let's just swoop between the hole.
That's the worst.
Whenever I fly,
you ever flown through a storm?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God.
That was why I have a fear of flying.
Yeah.
That's when we plummeted. But remember, I used to tell you, like, we'd get up, and if it was a sunny day, if you and I were taking a morning flight and it was a sunny day, I wouldn't even be concerned. I'd be like a little bit better. But as soon as I saw the storm, it's like having to navigate just like the Swiss cheese holes of good weather.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Me either.
I don't want to even do that. It's like, oh, we woke up. Oh, it's raining today. Sorry, all flights canceled.
Yeah, guess we're flying tomorrow.
I'm an all or nothing guy on that.
I don't even understand with the rocket, because they're rocketing literally like so fast that I was like, well,
would a storm even do anything?
Why is storm rain? You're above the clouds in 5 seconds. Like, so far, you're in the stratosphere in minutes. Like, it doesn't even matter. I mean, you're above any rain clouds in the matter of seconds. So I was like, why is a rain that big of a deal? But I'm sure there's lots of reasons, and
and how about those cameras? How about those live feeds from everything that they're doing? We can't even get a cell phone call to work in here from across the street, but you got HD quality
NASA
docking of the spaceship of this module.
Well, me and Crystal were talking about how often in life, and this doesn't really happen that often, where you see such a dramatic jump in technology from what you saw the last time to this time, because normally, just like you don't see your own kids grow, but you see other people's kids grow, and you're always shocked by how big they got since the last time. But your own kids, because you see them every day, it's like getting fat. You don't see yourself getting fat because it happens incrementally. No, it's just like all of a sudden you're fat. You're like, how did this happen?
Got to make a change.
Because you saw, same thing with getting
Twitch
old.
showed me that.
When you see the jump, that's when you notice a difference. It happens very slightly over time. So with this, the technological jump between videoing of the last shuttle and this one was like 9 years made a huge difference. Like all of a sudden you watch
a decade though. I mean, that's a lot of time.
I know.
But a lot of that,
you see this HD quality video, you're like, whoa, this is cool. Streaming live, like HD, it's great.
The only argument that I would have for that, though, is that, like, I think we all want to, and myself included, want to look at those before and after photos of the shuttle versus the Dragon, the module. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, wow, look at how far we've come in tech. But I believe, if I'm answering that honestly, that a lot of the systems that they had on the shuttle were advanced, but a lot of the switches and buttons and things that they had were also tried and true. And tested and worked all the time.
Yeah.
So
you
the
want
idea,
analog
there was no need to go with like a touchscreen if you had something that already kind of worked, right? I mean, that's just kind of how you do things.
Plus, the shuttle was when was it designed, in the 90s or something? The 80s?
Maybe even late 70s, early 80s. Who knows how long they were working on it? But I remember seeing it as a kid in the 80s.
So it's like a car that's built in the 80s and then
70s.
70s era. You would have new tech in it, but it would still have the old switches and stuff. You know, it's like, but now they have so much better technology. Like, I mean, how much. The computers are doing everything.
I mean, this launch had Apple CarPlay on it. They could just plug their phone in, and they got Spotify.
But didn't you say, because you messaged us in the group chat, and you said, like, Maisie unimpressed? Bored.
Yeah, oh no, her exact quote was, "This is boring. Can we play Uno?" That's what she said.
And what about your kids, Tom? Were they interested at all?
They actually sat there. I mean, we watched the launch and everything, and then 5 minutes into it just rocketing, they went off and played. But they were actually interested in the launch, and then we did that thing where we ran outside to see if we could see it, and then ran back inside, and we're like, I think it's too cloudy. Like, and then we're like, I think we should see it now. Too cloudy. You're all back inside. Because we couldn't determine how sometimes you could see rockets in clear days, but it was just too cloudy.
And
Maitland,
and you saw it. I believe it landed back safely in Ireland.
Well, the
actual booster did.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
I didn't know all that.
It was funny too because they had the feed on the NASA feed and they showed it coming in, and then at the top it said, like in little letters, it said feed might be interrupted, and then all of a sudden it was like feed interrupted, and then when it came back, it was like landed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it!
I as soon as I saw that, I'm like, a bunch of conspiracy theorists going to say, this is not true. But you've seen it land, like it comes down like a drone, and it's pretty.
It's amazing.
It doesn't even look real. Like, I understand why people like 100% believe in conspiracy, because you're like, no way that happened. Like, how is it flying down and landing perfectly?
It's a big giant hunk of flame and metal, and it just gently lands itself on I imagine a movable pad, right?
It's like a rocket drone, right? It has a bunch of different things that go off, kind of like a drone.
It's using different forces to counter correct, and it's amazing.
Another funny thing, I like both the Real Men astronauts. What are their names, by the way?
Bob and Doug, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bob and Doug, which I kept laughing because that's the McKenzie brothers from Strange Brew.
And these guys have been doing this. First, they've both been into space and been in rocket launches before. But
those are the calmest MFs.
Yeah, because
one was playing with a purple dinosaur as he was rocketing through space.
Yeah, because you know why? Is these guys are ultra smart, and this is all they've trained for. So it's like, I noticed one of them had like his fingers interlocked during the launch, and I'm just like, look how calm he is.
One guy had his hand on top of his other hand and was tapping his finger, and then they talked about it on the feed. The NASA, they're like, here they are. They're going. We're about into stage 2, and he just gives a thumbs up.
I saw the thumbs up.
Yeah, he's like, everything's great.
Yeah.
I don't even give a thumbs up in here, and I'm totally safe.
And also,
I won't even do that.
Crystal was asking me about I don't know why we do this, but we always go to bathroom questions as humans.
Here we go.
You pee your suit, yeah.
So, we were asking about that, and then she was like, well, what if they have to go number 2? And I'm like, there is a system for that, but I'm virtually certain it's in the space station, maybe not in that module to get to the space station, maybe as an emergency in the module. But
you wear a diaper, right? Until you get to the station.
You wear a space diaper.
No, because but then I was like,
the difference between a regular diaper and a space diaper is just aluminum foil, by the way.
These guys are
scratchy
scientists, and everything's engineered, even the human body and how it works. So they are fed a particular diet. So it's calculated. Like, I'm not like, these guys aren't like, they're rocking him. They're like, oh, I shouldn't have gone to Ale House and had that zinger melt. You know, like, that's not how. They're not having, you know, they're not having wings the night before. Like,
hey, Doug, how'd it go on Hot Ones yesterday? And he's like, I only made it to like the second before last sauce.
I should have planned this out.
God. I cried. Oh, DJ Khaled was right.
These guys have been eating the same thing for weeks, I'm sure.
They've probably been,
preparing
for what they have to eat when they're
getting in schedules, like having a certain nutrition. You know.
I believe they have trainers that actually will, pick what they do. But even then, they're real men, and I'm sure if they needed to, you just grunt a number 2 in your pants, and away you go. Who cares?
But I think that would be too unsanitary, like because you're in a totally clean environment and stuff. Like you have to be careful in space and stuff. So this is all calculated out. Like even if you had to take drugs so that you don't go for a couple days during that time, you know what I'm saying? Like they factored that in. It's not like they just take the chance and just be like, I hope Doug doesn't have to go bad number 4.
Oh yeah, well
3.
What is it? A 1 is a 1. A 2
is a 2.
A 3 is a loose 2, and a 4 is a white 1.
So they probably aren't allowed to do number 4, right? In space.
Yeah,
probably frowned upon.
No, I don't think you can. Gravity. There's no gravity.
Well, but everything's done with like
weightlessness.
I've seen that in the space station. They have a bathroom, but it's a series of like tubes and like with the suction and things like that. But like I said, all this is planned out and meticulously.
Oh, wow. Juan just sent me an article about.
I'm looking at that now.
Pooping in space. It says pooping in a spacesuit is as complicated as it sounds, and these are actual quotes. This is a quote from Apollo 10 Commander Tom Stafford. He said, "Get me a napkin quick. There's a turd floating through the air." That's pretty great. Yeah. Making astronauts say childlike things is pretty awesome. And then, here, I'll read the whole conversation. "Give me a napkin, quick," said Apollo 10 Commander Tom Stafford with some urgency. "There's a turd floating through the air." "I didn't do it. It ain't one of mine," replied Commander Module Pilot John Young. "I don't think it's one of mine," added Lunar Module Pilot Gene Kernan. "Mine was a little more sticky than that. Throw that away," said Stafford. Young then uttered, "God almighty," before the trio broke into laughter. Gotta be fun being a real man astronaut.
Yeah. And so now they're in the International Space Station, which...
God almighty.
There's someone in there at all times.
There's a whole other article called "What Happens When You Get Your Period in Space." I'm just going to X that out now.
Also...
That's gotta suck.
Yeah.
And Crystal brought this up, and you don't realize how big the actual International Space Station. Look that up, Samantha, because I think it's huge. It's way bigger than we think.
It's as big as the Mall of America. A lot of people don't know that.
It's a gigantic monstrosity. And,
it's 925,300 pounds.
Here's what I thought was weird.
How long is it?
Let me throw something else weird in there.
239.4 feet with a width of 357.5 feet.
Okay,
so it's as wide as a football field and almost as long. So imagine 2 football fields
kind of connected.
Yeah. That's bigger than I think people imagine in their head. It's because it's hard with nothing to. You have to put a quarter next to something if you want to show the size.
Well, that's only on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, but when it's in space and you're seeing you're just like, all right,
what are you gonna put it next to?
Is this 20?
Planet, I guess?
Is this 20 foot or 300 foot? I can't tell.
I can't tell. Well, I couldn't tell when they were docking, and they had to put a little something on the screen to show you the distance, how far away they were. Here was something I also was extremely impressed with when they connected later to do the live shot of them after they had docked with the International Space Station using the new touchscreens and everything. They got out. They're sitting there with their hair perfectly combed in a polo, like wearing like slacks, and I'm like, well, where? Like, I don't know. I know that you have to. I know this is a really stupid question.
The world's watching. They
Yeah, but no, is there like a little bathroom?
Is that what you told yourself in the morning?
Do you kind of swoop into like a room and then you have some clothes and you just go in there and you just do what you would normally do? Is there a mirror? Are you brushing your hair?
Yeah, they got mirrors.
Is it just like a normal?
They have their DOP kit, I imagine.
You put some Old Spice. You're like, it's in my eyes. It's floating around.
Yeah. It's way more scientific than people, want to look at it as. This is not normal. This is, you have to live your life by. It's kind of like, what's that movie, The Martian or whatever with what's his name?
Matt
Damon, but he kind of tried to portray what you like. You're almost on a. You're so smart. It's like you're. A lot of these guys are probably on the spectrum of intelligence, where it's like you're, in this next level, and you live your life. You're like, all right, it's very analytical, very logical, and like this is what I need to do. This is how.
But I like some of the things.
No emotion, no fear.
They didn't want to paint a picture, and we have to take a break. But I'll end with.
Oh, we're at the end of the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is it. But this is what I thought was really cool when they were asking him. It's so easy in today's world for everybody just to complain. And then you go, we all do it, where you go to extremes. Like if you ask me, how's your Diet Mountain Dew taste? And I was like, it sucks. Well, it doesn't really. But they were asking one of the astronauts about the ride up. And he's like, well, I'm used to the space shuttle. It does one thing, and it's a pretty fluid ride, he called it. And then they asked him about the riding in the Dragon. And he's like, well, it's a completely different thing. And he's like, when we got to stage 2, normally... I believe they were trying to compare that the space shuttle is a little bit more of a rocky ride and Dragon is smoother, but he said, and he used an adjective that was neither good nor bad, it was just accurate. It was an accurate adjective. Oh, yeah. He said it was more like, it'd be like saying this. They were like, how was the ride up there? And he was like, well, compared to the space shuttle, it was a bit more spirited. You know what I mean? Like he meant it had a little more zest, a little more zip. I'll look it up and try to find the actual adjective. But I found that to be like kind of what you're talking about.
They want
logical, real man. He's giving you the adjective that actually fits. He's not exaggerating it and saying it sucked.
No.
He's not exaggerating and saying it was terrifying. He's saying it was a bit more spirited.
They've spent their life training to be computers because that's how you have to be. That's how you need to be as most efficient as possible, and so you need to emulate a computer as much as possible to do this kind of job.
I enjoyed it, though. I enjoyed it a lot. So hats off to those guys. Go America. Get up there. Get on the space. Get on the moon, whatever.
There's going to be more.
Go to the Mars. Yeah, there's one at the end of the month.
Go Elon Musk. That guy is I know he's a weirdo, but he's smart as hell, and I like what he's doing.
He's making some stuff happen.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here. TomandDan.com for all things Tom and Dan. Find us on YouTube, Tom and Dan Live. Find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. We will see you tomorrow.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here, wearing the original Tom and Dan hoodie. What's up, Sam?
Hanging on by a thread over here.
How is the house coming along? Because I know that, Tom, what would you say, how long would you say it takes the average person moving into a new house to get fully settled?
This is a great question because I talked to my neighbor about this yesterday, and he gave me a number, and I was like, whoa, that seems too long.
Well, to me,
I bet you it's the same as mine.
It's unlimited because I don't know about anybody else. I'm constantly.
But like to be fully acclimated to the new home.
Ooh, tactical hat took my guess.
I would say the time where you actually feel like, okay, this is my house, this is my home. I'm going to go with 3 months. Okay. And that's a long time, but
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, my guess would be 6.
And I'm going on a month soon.
Yeah.
Because our closing date was May 11th. It's June 1st, so...
Oh, my God. Time is rocketing, man.
But yeah, tactical... I guess you said you agreed with tactical. My neighbor said the same. 6 months. I'm like, my God, a half a year?
Yeah, because, for us, like...
We've been going nonstop, though, and there's still a lot to do.
Yeah.
It's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
I need a break one day.
You start personalizing a new house that you move into to make it your own. And then obviously it never stops after that. But
you haven't even unpacked everything yet.
Yeah, you got to paint it and like some of those things, the touches of that, like putting in the fan, like replacing this kind of thing.
Haven't even got to that yet.
Yeah. So that's why they're saying 6 months. Because like you put in some fans, all of a sudden
you got to factor in purge time too, because a lot of the stuff you bring over, you're like, oh, we need this. But then when you get there, you're like, oh, we don't need this.
We purged before we moved, and now we're purging again.
Yes.
While we're unpacking, we're like, you know what? Screw this. I don't want this. Not enough space for this. We don't use it enough.
Yeah, it's but good luck with that. You got about 5 more months. So
yay.
Yeah.
It'll
I need a vacation.
I know we'll talk about it when we get to it, but that hot tub, I'm not going to let you abandon that. You're going to get it one way or the other.
I think we're 1 foot out the door on that.
No, get your foot back in.
Well, here's your problem.
That thing's going to show up at your house one day.
Oh, no.
Here's your problem. You and Samantha are eerily, you guys have a lot of like family things that sort of align, the stars when it comes to you guys being similar in family life and in things that you like are pretty similar. Here's the problem. You're not factoring in her husband, who is now kind of coming to my side and becoming a grumpy old man.
Yes,
and he is, I think he might be further along at his age. Yeah. He's further along than I was at that age. Just going to clarify, he's way younger than me. But he is progressing quite nicely when it comes to becoming quite the grump. Is he got one foot out of the old hot tub game?
He suggested to me, because I was already kind of like, this is going to be kind of a hassle. Yeah. And then he brought it up, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, so he's the one poo-pooing it.
Oh, you know what? I need to give him the keys to my hot tub and let him take it for a spin.
We've been in a hot tub before.
Yeah. But maybe you haven't done it recently.
In October when we were in Asheville.
Too
we had a hot tub.
Too far.
It's going to be weird if you hit him up and you're like, hey, Travis, I know I never text you. This is Tom. I'd like you to come over and sit in my hot tub. That is going to be weird.
No, steam his bowel bones.
I'll leave him hide a key. He can go do it at his own leisure. I'll give him the...
So my husband's just going to show up at your house?
No, just let him crawl through the raccoon door.
No, you take it for a spin. I'll give him the password to the app. You can turn.
I know what it is. 6969.
Yeah, right.
He could heat it up at his.
When's the last time you got in your hot tub?
Oh, I was in it last weekend.
I was in there this weekend. I'm in there all the time. And now
it's not too hot.
Yeah. Well,
apparently you and your old lady are always in there nude. Oh my God.
My sons have now. We got tired of because
clothing. They're adopting like almost a natural lifestyle.
Because they'll swim in their underwear all the time. But
it's very white trash.
Yeah,
but
I'm tired of.
I respect it.
It's bad for your underwear too.
We take out. Then after they're done in the pool, then they take off their wet underwear, and then I just leave it drying at different places around my patio.
Oh,
now we got
beautiful.
15 pairs of kids' underwear drying, and I'm like, let's go nude. Oh
my God!
What are we doing this for? I'm like, who cares? Just go nude.
Well, I mean, you could
do laundry.
You could put them in a swimsuit.
Yeah. But the problem with the swimsuit. Then they have this irrational fear of the netting.
Well, that's not irrational since something happened to Max. He had an accident there.
Yeah. Because they're
just cut the netting out.
I should have circumcised them.
That's back to tradition.
People. Here's the thing. No one explained to me like all this dumb the reasons why they're like it's just for
cosmetic.
Cosmetic. Yeah. It's just
but
there's
a
no
lot
reason.
of the things that you've been.
But no one told me about the underwear, the netting and the underwear, and then.
But a lot of what you're saying right now,
dude,
that's no one ever told me that.
What?
With the stuff you're falling into.
You just learn it.
Sensitive society BS. That's all BS. No one ever. My mom and dad never told me anything about the netting could strangle my penis or the cleaning or anything like that. And I'm fine.
No, I know.
You just keep it clean.
I know, but
there's not new rules. It's not like the design has changed. It's not like the old shuttle to like the new, SpaceX Dragon. It's the same penis.
All I'm saying is everybody explained to me the logic behind not doing it, and it made perfect sense to me. And I was like, yeah, why is anybody doing this? This is archaic. This is ridiculous, absurd. And then I jumped on the bandwagon, of course, and I was like, yeah, why would I cut this off? This is insane. Like, everything. And then, but no one, if they would have said, like, well, one day, you have to put some cream on the end of it if it doesn't stretch out enough, and that's there. Okay, well now there's a cream regimen to sometime.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
I don't think I ever got the cream regimen. I don't think that's a thing.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not gonna embarrass them, but one of them needs the cream, and then the other is the netting, and then it's like, well, be careful the netting. If the netting holes are too big in the bathing suit, then it works its way in there, and then yank it, and then they're traumatized by that. Then there's the
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard any of that. But
it gets stuck in the netting holes. It's happened both of them, and I didn't know it was a thing.
Out.
Yeah,
I did. We did. We started cutting them out.
But they still won't wear the bathing suit after the net's cut out.
Yeah. Well, now we got ones with the smaller. It's just in the back.
Just be naked. You're right.
In the back of their mind, they're just like, "Hey, I'm going to be careful." Anyway, it's just another little incremental pain in the ass that no one explained to me back at the beginning. Everybody's just like, "Yeah, it's I'm just telling the truth."
I honestly think for you, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with you 100%. I think you, cut it off. Like a path of least resistance.
Oh, now it's too far gone.
No, you got to do it now. I think you got to do it.
Now it's too far. It is what it is now.
Traumatize them.
No.
Just go naked. But when do you stop doing that?
Well, as long as there's no one at the house, then
Well,
they
you've
can
given
do it
my
forever.
husband a Heineke, so who knows when he's showing up.
He shows
he's
up.
fine.
He's sitting in the hot tub. He's like, "This is great and all, but your sons are nude in the hot tub with me,
It's
and
weird,
that makes me
As
uncomfortable."
long as it's all dudes, I feel like nudity is fine. You know, it's like,
I agree
it's
with
like
that.
the locker room.
Well, we're all nude here. Samantha's the only one wearing clothing because it's all dudes, and that's the way we dude it.
Anyway,
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it.
You want to do some voicemails and some emails?
yeah,
Because they're piling up. I'll start, Sam. I'll give you some time to get some emails ready. Here's a hot take about Nerd Jock.
Okay, EJ's Nerd Jock thing has got to get canceled because at this point he's just literally advertising false sports information on the radio. The NBA hasn't decided anything. He came on there and was announcing that there's a 16-team playoffs and the Magic couldn't play Milwaukee even though they're in a different conference, which, by the way, they're not. They're in the same conference. The Magic would have played Milwaukee even if it was East and West, EJ. Also, they haven't decided anything. He said that they were going to end the season where they stopped. Nobody has made that decision yet. He said they officially decided on Disney, and while that is all but assured, nothing has been finalized yet. They still may play a abbreviated end of the season, ended at 72 games. There's still a lot of factors on the table, and EJ's out here talking like he's the NBA commissioner. You guys got to get rid of this Nerd Jock thing. It fucking sucks.
Oh.
Okay, he took a real hot take at the end. Sorry, I didn't play it all the way to the end.
Here, this may be
apologize.
my fault, sir, because EJ, he knows way more about the nerd stuff, and that's what
Right.
he's into, than the jock stuff. Even though
It should just be a nerd segment.
yeah, but I don't like all the nerd stuff, so that's why I suggested. I'm like, yeah, just do nerd and jock, because you used to play.
I'm with you. It's time to circumcise that bit
and
cut it out. Cut it out of the show.
you played for you played college football. You're a jock.
But that
and
means nothing.
I know,
No, Seth Petrozelli was a UFC fighter and doesn't know who's on the roster.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, no, I know.
He only knows, he only knows Felicia because he holds pads for her.
Yeah. It's just.
I texted him one night because I was trying to get on Bovada and make a bet on one of these UFC fights, and you weren't answering your phone, which arguably it's family time, or you were gambling, and I don't want to interrupt that, and you weren't answering me, so I text Seth, and he's like, "Who? I don't know who's on the card."
No, Seth knows nothing about it. Here's the thing, sir. EJ will definitely hear this, and then it'll get into
hurt
his
his
head,
feelings.
and then he'll start trying to research more. So this is the great balance. Your
So
criticism.
you're saying this needed to happen in
Yes.
order to kind of set homeostasis correct within the delicate.
I don't think he'll do more research.
Yeah, you're probably right.
People have complained about this before, and it continues.
Yeah. So
Well, the other way of handling this would be to just make it a nerd segment.
no,
Which there are people in the chat saying he doesn't know about the nerd stuff either. So
okay.
he just knows Pokemon. It's just Pokemon. It's
Okay,
a
he could
Pokemon
just
Go
call in and give
segment.
us Pokemon update.
yeah. No, I don't want that.
Okay, I don't want that
That's-
either. But look, I'm here to please people. I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, he'll not get everything.
Look, man, if it'll make
correct,
you happy,
but-
you can circumcise me.
He'll get a general idea of what's going on. I'll try to help him. Although I have been thinking about doing
You're getting serious.
a more of a sports segment with. I got an individual in mind. I got to see if he'll do it.
I know
but-
who you're talking about.
But we'll see if it gets closer
Old man.
to
Okay.
when time sports gets back
Well,
up and
you
running.
better get going because I don't know how much longer that guy's going to be alive.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
Let's just say, not to spoil it, but let's just say lunch with Harold.
So
Oh, man.
we'll figure something out. But he's on the clock right
Yeah,
now. If you're
he's
listening,
probationary status.
Yeah. Get your stories right.
Yeah,
This
we'll
gentleman's
talk to him.
right.
Well, he's going to be on today's show, so we'll talk to him. We'll talk to him about it.
Yeah.
And
It'll be up next.
He'll be up next, and I will play this voicemail again for him.
No.
Yes, Sam.
Okay, so this is called Spider Monday Story, which is great. Everyone is inundating me with spiders.
Well, it's Tuesday, but we can go with the
Right,
Spider
right.
Monday.
Hey, gang, I just wanted to share a spider experience I had back in 2010-2011. Right before we moved from Florida to Virginia, I came across a golden orb weaver, commonly called banana spider. Me and my buddy were cleaning out the garage as part of the move, and while taking the trash out across the street, I noticed what has got to be the single largest spider and spider web I have ever seen. The web literally stretched from the ground up to the power lines, with a spider almost the size of my palm sitting right in the center of it. Absolutely one of the craziest things I've ever seen. While tearing the web down, my buddy managed to get the majority of the web on a stick with the spider dangling off the end, and he started waving and flinging the spider around, trying to mess with me.
That is something you do when you have a creature, an animal, an injured animal,
and you
a
see
fish.
Your buddy's scared of it.
You wing it around. I'm gonna get you.
You chase him around with it. Yeah.
And
the person's like, no, like, you're terrified.
But then they say things that they should. They're like, I will kill you if you get that on me, Jerry.
Right.
Yeah, but you know they won't. They can't.
They're your buddy.
It came to an end when he swung it too hard and it spun all the way around him, and he couldn't get out of the way in time, and the spider ended up landing right on his leg. Almost in an instant, he smacked the spider off his pants and jumped and stomped straight down on it and made it spurt out its backside like a tube of toothpaste. Anyway, love the show and keep up the good work. BDM for life.
Yeah, what are the spiders?
Meanwhile, it did nothing to you.
Yeah, it was just hanging out.
Well, I saw you while you were grilling when I was over at your house, naked in your hot tub, and you were grilling a snack and sausage for me. I saw you get a spider off your gas grill and put it on like a little piece of paper, and then gently take it over and put it in your tomato plants.
Yeah. My Crystal has. I've been trying to. It's funny. I think about this. This is the dumbest stuff.
No, I thought it was cool.
About.
I wasn't making fun of it. By the way.
No, I'm not talking about the spider.
You made me rethink it because I saw you do that, and I was like, well, should I be doing that?
I'm trying to train myself to say Crystal instead of my wife. I've been doing it for, a decade.
Do I say my wife or do I say Andrea?
You say kind of 50-50.
Yeah, but I usually go.
Sometimes you say your mom.
I say my wife, and I realize I'm talking to our audience. They know her name is Crystal. I don't need to say my wife. It's just an old radio thing that I used to say my wife all the time because I was like trained to talk to a bigger audience. Like, they don't know your wife. Yeah, like there could be new listeners. Like the times have changed.
And
it's an old man
but
thing.
But there never were.
No. But it's an old man radio thing that I'm trying to break the habit. Anyway, so that's why I keep saying my wife, and then I go to Crystal. Anyway.
You could have just done that. We didn't need the explanation.
Well, I feel like people are like, why every time he says it? He's
I don't
like,
think anyone's thinking that.
I'm with
maybe
you.
You're right.
I'm with you.
Anyway, she taught me save all animals, no matter what. And it's like with a spider.
I can't get down with that.
Now,
what about invasive species? Where does she stand on that?
She understands they should be killed. She won't do it herself, and she doesn't want to see it. But if I had to do it, she wouldn't be mad at me. Also, cockroaches can be killed, and ants can be killed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do
There's
spiders?
a hierarchy here.
What do spiders do? Should I be okay? Here's my problem with spiders. On my balcony,
spiders, we just take them outside.
Well, in my balcony, which is outside, they just kind of make their nests and things, and it's not. It's kind of gross and unsightly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that allowed if I clean their nest down, or should I let them kind of integrate into my balcony?
No, you could just relocate them into the bushes or somewhere else.
I can't relocate those orange nests though, or
the
sacks with the
the sacks. You got to get rid of those. The Crystal's fine with
because they keep away like
killing
flying.
The sacks.
They keep away like flying insects, right? So there is a benefit to having them around. I just don't know what it is.
They'll flies, mosquitoes, like other pests. Spiders are good for. It's just one of those things.
I was impressed when you did it.
You just let them outside. No big deal.
Here, let's try this guy.
Good evening, Tom, Dan, and Sam. Butler, whatever you're doing, great. So, my wife is a bit of an orange soda fan. And I also am an orange soda fan. I am a true Floridian. So as we've been doing some orange soda drinking lately, we realized, oh boy, Sunkist, that is like Roofer's coffee, go-go juice. Wake you up in the morning, bam!
I love it.
Full of caffeine. Then we realized most orange sodas don't have caffeine like a Sunkist, which of course is all natural orange juice or something. But, a Fanta, it's a real nice evening orange soda. It's almost like a session IPA. It's a little calmer and it's a little bit more tolerable, in the evening. So for you true Floridians who like your orange soda, Sunkist in the morning, Fanta in the evening. a.m. p.m.
Wow.
AM, PM. And they're right, because you and I were just talking, the reason I selected this one, you and I were just talking about this last week.
Yeah. Orange sodas and.
But we were talking about how Sunkist, I believe, is up there, like maybe right under like a Mountain Dew when it comes to like being chock full of delicious caffeine.
Yeah. It also it should be on the Florida State flag because it seems like primarily a Florida. My mom still to this
19
day.
milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, I would buy a shirt that
Sunkist,
said
then.
Sunkist in the morning, Fanta in the evening. Like that.
Where does Crush sit in this system?
I think Crush is kind of.
That's Poro Sunkist.
Yeah, it's kind of Poro.
All right.
So
That's white trash.
also, I believe it's got 200. Because I've been trying to get my mom off Sunkist for years and get her to move to diet or something. I'm like, Mom, you can't. You're.
But it tastes good.
You're an older lady. You can't be drinking Sunkist anymore. Like you've been drinking this for 40
It's
years
delicious.
or whatever. When I was a kid, I remember running it hot. Like playing football outside, running and like looking through we didn't have water. We didn't have like filtered water or
Yeah.
anything.
No.
I drink out of the hose and then I run in and I chug a Sunkist to try to quench my thirst.
Yeah.
All it is,
You
By
drink
the
it
way-
so fast it burns your throat.
shouldn't be drinking that at like 7 years old.
Oh, it
like,
gives you energy. Knocks your
caffeine-
teeth out.
Yeah, pure sugar. It's not healthy for you at all. No adult should be drinking full sugar sodas.
Well, who's it for then? Because kids, 7-year-olds and adults can't do it?
I think it's
what
for
is it?
everybody.
I mean,
It's from ages 7 to 70 is what I think.
Okay.
I think it's for everybody.
I just feel like
Live your life.
you're gonna have some like how many grams of sugar in there?
Oh,
I know
what,
I'm
30?
I don't want to be some health junkie. I'm
28 grams of sugar or something
not
like
by
that,
any
right?
means. I just
It's a lot.
hard to justify that. It's like
43 grams.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
way low. I said 30 at my highest.
yeah. I'm just when I look at a Sunkist, I'm like, yes, I am well aware that is a delicious sugary treat. I just look at it and I'm like, how many White Claws is this? Like, I think this is, if you go by 70s, this is 3 White Claws.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like I could have 3 70 White Claws, and instead of this one, and those 3 White Claws give me a butt. Like I'll go alcohol if I'm gonna get sugar.
No, I get you.
I'll go alcohol. You know, it's like my dad used to not smoke cigarettes, but he'd smoke weed, and he used to tell my mom, like, I don't, like, if I'm going to smoke something, I'm going to smoke weed. The cigarettes don't get me high. So that was his
Like that
rationality.
logic,
I hear
yeah.
you. We
know.
went through. You and I went through a phase years ago. I want to say like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, where we would mix
Diet Sunkist and
Diet
vodka.
Sunkist and orange vodka together and call it a Star Kiss.
Yeah.
Because it was caffeine and alcohol. It's good. It's like handmade Four Loco.
That's the year I got blacked out on that in the early morning afternoon of a camping trip,
Yeah.
and I tried to jump over a river. Remember?
We had to
And
talk you down.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Don't do it," and
You're like, I still got it.
Yeah.
Got that Starkiss strength.
Yeah.
By the
You
way,
got, one more. We got time for
Yeah.
one more.
since there was a difference in height, I was trying to jump over from one ledge down. I would blow my ankles out in the middle of nowhere, and then have to be paddled back in the middle of the night in excruciating ankle pain.
Yeah.
You know, like that.
Break your ankles like in the movie Misery.
Yeah. And then I have to listen to Crystal bitch at me the entire time she paddles me back, and my ankles
Yeah.
are broken. Like, that seems like a miserable time.
Yeah.
Or just not jump.
Where do you guys stand on purple soda before we move on?
I don't drink orange soda or purple soda. Never been a fan.
I'm orange soda. My wife loves a delicious ice cold purple soda.
Yeah, a Welchers. Is that
Welchers?
Welchers is what you do on best.
What is it called?
It's just
Welch's.
Welch's.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But Fanta, Welch's. I don't know. Welch's.
There's also a Crush grape. I
Crush.
believe.
Crush has strawberry. Crush has a lot
Yeah.
of different. I am a fan of the fruity sodas.
Yeah. It's just, how can you justify drinking one with so much sugar?
Fago grape.
I guess it's like the
God.
only thing.
There's
you're-
a Zevia grape. You guys
I've
interested
had
in
it.
that?
I've had it. It's not. No.
There's also a Sunkist grape.
Yeah, I've had Sunkist grape. Yeah, no.
Not for me.
I can't.
Got to swear that stuff off.
Hurts my teeth.
Let's do one more email.
All
Take
right.
a quick
Hey,
break.
Dan. Hope you and the rest of the gang and your families are being as safe as you can during this uncertain time. I wanted to ask you if you had any info to share about the game Witcher 3. I know it's been a while and you're probably onto something else by now. I'm not a gamer that plays every day, more like once or twice a week. However, because of all of what's going on, a lot of the games are on sale now, and I got the Witcher game for just $15 the other day.
That's a great steal. That's a steal.
Yeah. Any hints that could help me during the gameplay or things to be certain to look out for? I'm sure I could look stuff up online, but just wanted to get your perspective on it since you seemed to be so into it a while back.
Oh, I love it. I beat it. Like, I beat every possible part of it. I beat all the downloadable content and everything there. Just take your time. That game is immense and it's super fun, and just take your time and be mindful of like where you save. I would say that, but really, that game can do no wrong in my eyes. There's boobies in it. There's the story's great, the art's great, the characters are great, the voicing is great. It's just a great video. It's not like a video game. It's like a playable, like Game of Thrones.
Is that show still on? Like
it will be back.
Okay.
Yeah. We finished a very good show. Not as good as the game, but it's good.
I think, next summer or something? Next spring?
Everything's going to get pushed back because of COVID. So
also, we're in a time where everybody's wishing, like, I hope your family's safe and everything. And I do the same thing, too, because you feel like you need to add that into an intro to some, like, when you're texting or emailing someone you haven't emailed in a while before this, you're like, have to put that in there. Although I've put my family in way more danger before any of this happened. And I've been, right now is the safest they've been.
That's true.
Like when we used to take like road trips and I'm driving with my family in the car, and then I'm like, I snap into it. I'm like, whoa, zoned out there for a second. That wasn't safe. You know what I'm saying? Like lots of those times that I definitely have put my family in way more danger than the past couple months than I ever could have. So you should have been wishing me that my long time ago.
But definitely get all the downloadable content if you can, and good luck with it. Have fun with it. I guess that's it. Yeah, sorry. I think I got nothing else to answer that guy. Yeah. So let's take a quick break. We'll take one. We will come back and do more of A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this.